Wait, so you want me to record?
Hello, everyone. This is Tracy Carmack with the Microbiome Frequently Asked Questions Nerd Session for all of you who are on their way to being microbiome experts. So our speaker today is Lain Gay. He is the Microbiome Labs rep for the Houston area, and he's going to be speaking on Zenbiome, doing a informational, educational introduction, and then he's going to go through some interactive questions and answers. So take it away, Lain.
Good morning, guys. Be patient with me. We're going to get through this. Zenbiome is, I'm just starting my journey on the gut biome and all the different bacteria and how they work. And Zenbiome is fascinating to me, that a bacteria can positively affect the psychobiome or the gut-brain connection and reduce and give a sense of calm or peace and reduce stress. So Zenbiome is the latest product that we launched, and it came from the combination, I guess, of Novozyme, and this is one of their highly researched products that we're able to launch in the US as well, and it's also been launched in Europe and has been heavily studied. Zenbiome is powered by a certain strain of the Bifidobacterium longum, 714, which I'll just kind of pause a little bit, talk about Bifidobacterium longum and the strain series and the difference. I was explained to that by strains make a huge difference in the effects of the body, that each strain could have drastically different effects. One of the analogies that was given to me was dogs, right? So if you say to your friend or your kids that I'm gonna, I agree, I'll get a dog, they want a dog. One of them wants a Great Dane and the other one wants a poodle. Drastically different, same species, drastically different strains. They both serve different functions, totally different animals. So in the sense of that, this Bifidobacteria longum 714 is a specific strain that has been found to be high potency psychobiotic. It helps, and I'm reading right here, it helps support the body's response to occasional stress and body's neurocognitive process. It helps to support the HPA axis and healthy cortisol levels. So in human clinical trials, it is shown to support memory performance and improve perception of stress. So we have Zenbiome launched, which it's fascinating that the gut-brain axis, what they have termed the psychobiome, that 80 to 90% of the fibers of the vagus nerve are linked to the gut, which also I've learned that in the gut, there's neuroreceptors. The gut has overwhelmingly more neuroreceptors than anywhere else in the body. So it's directly communicating to our brain, and they've actually found that bacteria can actually produce the indicators and signaling by themselves outside of our own human body cells. So they can actually create the signals and signaling for our nerves and autoimmune response. And that's essentially how this is working. That 714 is going in and it affects supporting by the NF dash, I think it's K to B. Is that right, Tracy? Is how you pronounce that?
That would be kappa B. Yeah,
Signaling
NF kappa B.
Kappa B. NF kappa B. So NF kappa B, and so this is, when we're studying gut health and everything, and then we switch gears really fast to study nerve signaling. It's you have to watch a lot of videos and get the actual terminology down. So that's where I'm at. But it's fascinating that it's supporting the NF kappa B signaling and the cytokine production, and supporting the IL-10 levels. Predominantly what this is reducing inflammatory markers and improving anti-inflammatory signaling is essentially what this is, which supports the healthy levels of cortisol. It also may support mental health, cognitive process, and neurotransmitters, and the overall feeling of being well. The 4-week human clinical trial reduced perceived stress, improved memory performance. Again, I said this before, reduced mental fatigue, and positively supported the brainwave activities. These studies have them. I'll stop share. Share screen. I believe I have that study. So here's a study. We can share this with you. Randomized, double-blinded, placebo-controlled.
Lain, don't forget to
Again,
reshare your screen so we can see.
Did that work? Stop share. Share screen. There we go. Sorry. So that we can share this study with you, and it goes into the details of exactly how they measured it. Again, double-blinded, randomized, double-blinded, parallel group design, looking at MR images using the different technology and questionnaire. The CBG as well. That's just a questionnaire on perceived stress. And then they did, I believe this one was the game, which you can go in and read. I won't go to this extreme detail of that. I'll go back to so what I found, and I'm going to switch back and forth. I need to pull all of these into one presentation. So one of the questions that everybody asks is, okay, Megaspore is spore-based probiotics. How is this 1714? Is it a spore-based? And it is not. This Bifidobacterium longum 714 is not a spore-based, but the mechanism of action is we're not changing the commensal bacteria of the gut, right? We're not trying to colonize the gut. So there's definite benefits to these bacteria that we are taking. And the pathway is you ingest the bacteria, the Bifidobacterium longum. It increases the anti-inflammatory, the cytokine IL-10. Then it goes through and blocks the signaling, thereby reducing inflammation and reducing cortisol levels. The thought process is the exopolysaccharides, which is on all the bacteria, and that unique strain when it comes down to the 714 and how it interacts with the body. So it's a little bit different mechanism of action. We're not trying to recolonize the gut or change the keystone bacteria or commensal bacteria. What we're doing is getting the benefits of this exopolysaccharides specifically from the 714 strain. So if you have any more questions about that, I'm sure we can discuss it. These are known effects that stimulate the growth of beneficial bacteria on a short term, inhibit bacterial adhesion, increase barrier integrity, influence immune health through toll-like receptors. So the gut is, like I said, having all the neurotransmitters and pick up. This is essentially how that mechanism of action is working, specifically for the 1714. Tracy, do you have anything to add to that?
I would just point out in the previous slide, it mentioned the lichen formis, which is one of the spores, and how it has some similar activity using the exopolysaccharides. So, megaspore is going to do some of this, but nothing compared to what the longum, the Bifidobacteria longum, can do. It is going to be broken down, digested by the pH and the bile salts and pancreatic enzymes, but it does not have to be intact in order to do this. It just needs to be able to release that exopolysaccharide to be a metabolic signaler to do all of these functions. So go ahead. Continue, Lain, you're doing great.
Thank you. Thank you for adding to that. So that's a great way to put it. And that's essentially the research and videos and everything that I've watched recently, say the same thing, that it will break it down, but the benefits are there. So we offer this in two formulations, Zenbiome Cope and Zenbiome Sleep, that you can use independently or in combination. I'll get into the dosing. The Zenbiome Cope, we added vitamin B and vitamin B12, that these are very well known to support cognitive health. So it's a great additive, as well as the saffron extract. This is a partnership of Saffron, which they have extensive clinical trials supporting Saffron in stress relief. It's been looked at into mild depression as well. Most of the clinical trials with Saffron is they're around 28 to 50 milligrams on their clinical trials. So this is a 14 milligram, and our recommended dosing is 2 on a day, that if you take Zenbiome, so you're getting a clinical dose of each one of these ingredients, which is a great value. And it adds to the efficacy of the stress relief. This is something, Zenbiome Cope, you would take during the day to reduce the overall feeling of stress and increasing theta waves, which theta waves are correlated to meditation and hypnosis. So it's a very calm state of mind. The Zenbiome Sleep, we add and I always butcher it's theanine, is that correct?
Yes.
L-theanine, I always stumble over that for some reason, which can support serotonin uptake, GABA, and dopamine levels. The Zenbiome Sleep also adds lemon balm extract, which is a fabulous herb to help the ability to fall asleep and to calm nervousness. So there's some extensive data behind that. And again, it's at a therapeutic dose, 200 micrograms, and the L-theanine's 200 micrograms as well. There is 5 billion CFUs in both Zenbiome Cope and Sleep of the Bifidobacterium longum 714, which is a high dose. The suggested use of this is we have several different options. It's indicated for children of 3 years of age. I'm sorry, 3 years and up. And you just need to consult the doctor if it's younger. But option A is daily stress during the day is 2 capsules of Zenbiome Cope. Otherwise, if you're having hard time to get to sleep, then it would be suggested that 1 Zenbiome Cope during the day and 1 before sleep. And then obviously that if you're mainly focused and struggled on sleep, getting to sleep and staying to sleep, then 2 capsules of the Zenbiome Sleep in the PM is what we suggest. So I'm going to go and switch gears and go to some questions. Hopefully y'all will participate. So Zenbiome, first question is, what ways does the gut communicate with the brain? So we have short chain fatty acids through the vagus nerve and through the immune system, or all of the above.
All of the above?
All of the above, which is fascinating to me that gut-brain connection, you can watch 4 or 5 hours of videos on that and still not completely understand it. But definitely connected to the gut. Primal brain, I guess is what they'll call it. What is the psychobiome? Bacteria that influences psychosis. Elements of the gut biome that impact mood, cognition, and mental health. How the microbiome causes depression. GABA markers and on biome FX. That's kind of interesting. So it's the elements of the microbiome that impact mood, cognition, and mental health. Just pause real quick that there is a clinical trial, human clinical trial, looking at longum 1714 in young adolescent males with documented medical depression, and it did not have an effect. So we are not at all saying that Zenbiome, which is fascinating that they even got that clinical trial approved, but it didn't for clinically diagnosed depression, at least in the adolescent males. It did not affect depression, which that could, medical depression is most likely serotonin and a lot of different other markers that this does not affect. What are psychobiotics? Anyone want to take a guess? So psychobiotics are bacteria and prebiotics that confer mental health benefits. This is wide research going on, and I'm sure there'll be more as we start discovering how that gut-brain connection is actually working, and the beneficial bacteria, and understanding more about it. So this is kind of what I'm excited about is that these psychobiotics, and the more that we know, Microbiome Labs is set for the future, in the sense that we have Biome FX, which is a whole genome testing, which what's fascinating is that the more that we know about it, the more that we discover and know what to look for, the Biome FX test already is testing for it. We just don't know to look for it because it's identifying all of the genomes that's in the stool. We just need to know which ones that we're looking at. So we're definitely set up for the future to identify those bacteria that are beneficial and detrimental to the mental health and the gut-brain connection. What is the CFU count of the Zenbiome Cope Sleep? It's 5 billion CFUs, which is significant. What is the saffron extract in Zenbiome Cope shown to do? So improve sleep quality, alleviate anxiety, support and induce relaxation. All of the above. Who answered that?
Me.
I don't know who me is, sorry. Thank you. So all the above, that's some great research. It's a great product out there that Saffron, if you want to look under the trade name. L-theanine, what is L-theanine used for? It supports production of serotonin, dopamine, and GABA, supports alpha brain waves, and supports restful sleep. And that's all of the above. What combination of Zenbiome Cope and Zenbiome Sleep do we recommend? We went through that. This is all of the above. So 2 caps in the morning for daily stress. If you're having trouble going to sleep and daily stress, you can do 1 and 1, or you can do 2 caps in the evening of the sleep. Which brain waves are associated with deep relaxation, like meditation or hypnosis? And I actually,
I think it's alpha.
it is theta. I'm going to share.
Alpha is the shorter waved, theta is a little bit longer. Alpha is more feel good, theta is more meditative. But Lain, doesn't the whole formula help with both? The organism helps with theta, but theanine helps with alpha.
Yes. So it's predominantly focused on the last 3. Even with the sleep with the Zenbiome extract, the delta waves, but predominantly it's the theta waves is what the Longum 714 has been shown to impact or to improve, taking you from the beta, which is, and then obviously gamma is your high anxiety. So your body will get into a loop of, especially with leaky gut. That's something that I didn't talk about. The significance of leaky gut and solving these prior is a leaky gut. Gut is the #1 source of chronic inflammation. So if we can, all those inflammatory markers are essentially attacking this process and causing a continual loop in producing cortisol. Whereas if you correct the leaky gut and get homeostasis back into your gut biome, we can improve these. But this Longum 714 has a direct impact on, like I said, the IL-10 an affinity for that, which will will break that chain and improve the alpha brainwave through that gut-brain connection, that hypothalamus pituitary axis. So I'll stop. Sorry to flip back and forth. So for this, brainwaves associated with deep relaxation would be the theta. Which research results are associated with the bifidobacterial Longum 714? So reduction in urinary cortisol output, increase in theta band brain wave activity, improved sleep quality during times of stress. So I didn't go through the improved sleep quality at times of stress, but they put it in college students during tests. And they tracked their sleep through journals, and they had an improvement in sleep quality. So that's all the above. It's all been associated in human clinical trials. Exopolysaccharides is the slime layer on the outside of the bacteria that can influence things like bacterial populations, intestinal barrier integrity, biofilm activity, and more. Is that true or false? That is true. So that's the kind of the mechanism of action that is thought to give the longum 714 that to show what the mechanism of action of their benefit is.
Lain, while you're
So
on that
that's the
slide,
end. Yes.
I'm just going to point out, if anyone
Yes.
has ever made their own yogurt, you can see the exopolysaccharide. It binds together and it's stringy and ropey. So for those who make their own yogurt, you might not have known it, but you were looking at exopolysaccharide.
Is that what's on the top layers?
No, generally that's
Or is
the
that
cream.
throughout the yogurt?
Yeah, the cream will, rise to the top. So the thick part that you see in a lot of commercial yogurts is the cream. And in commercial yogurts, you won't always see the exopolysaccharide. I think it's the way it is processed. But if you make it yourself, you're more likely to see it.
Okay, that's interesting. I just found one of my running buddies just found out that he makes all kinds of fermented food. It's his hobby. We were talking about the gut biome and everything on Tuesday morning run group. That's interesting. So he makes his own yogurt and a bunch of different fermented foods.
Yeah, and you can use
which
you can use megaspore and make kombucha, sauerkraut, and yogurt. It doesn't have the best tasting in yogurt. That's why the lactobacillus and bifidus yogurt starters tend to be a little tastier. But just know that since megaspore is live, it will ferment in moisture if you leave it too long.
Oh wow, did not know that. We probably need a megaspore kombucha
Absolutely.
in our
Need it.
good biome food.
That's right.
Or either that or a ginger microbiome beer.
Now you're talking. You can start it.
That may not be a bad idea. Let's try that. Yeah, that's what he is telling me, is he makes ginger beer and everything. So I'm gonna go over to his house tomorrow night, drink some of his ginger beer.
Yep. You have to report back.
I'll bring the megaspore and see if you can make it for us.
Super.
So any other questions on Zenbiome? It's pretty fascinating that a bacteria can change your brain waves.
Yeah, this information is over the top. I think it's going to get a lot of interest, and I can't wait to hear some testimonials and feedback. I know Tamara joined us. She's tried it. Catherine's joined us. She's tried it. They're getting some amazing results. Do either of you two ladies want to share about your results?
Yeah, I can share. So I usually sleep pretty well, but in the last couple of weeks with all the, just training, I hadn't been sleeping real well because I had that kind of racing brain. So I've been taking it every night for the last 3 nights, but I actually felt a difference that first night. I had been waking up before I took it, and I slept rock solid and woke up well rested, not groggy, like some other supplements can do. I think people have mentioned the melatonin can do that. So I'm impressed. I haven't tried the Cope yet, but I did want to ask in terms of children, so children under 12, because I know it says that children 3 and up can take it, because clearly we have a lot of children that are on anxiety medications. What would the dosing be? Would you just half the dosing or go by the pediatric recommendations of dosing? What do you guys usually recommend on that?
Yeah, our
I
children's
think the dosing is
recommendation.
going to be,
Go ahead, Tamara.
well, I think if it said, if the bottle says 3 and up and it has the dosing right there, I don't think there's any reason to believe you can't use that dosing for young children. But I mean, I guess you could go by what a pediatrician would recommend.
Yeah, and we've always kind of taken the conservative side. And remember, at 2.5 years old, a child's microbiome is mature. So they should be able to handle any adult dose, but we always kind of err on the side of conservative and generally divide the dose in half, just to make sure there's not any sensitivities to ingredients. Because if you've been working with children, you'll see that a lot of kids are more hypersensitive to their environment than ever before in history. So we never know if they are going to have a reaction to an ingredient or even the capsule itself or whatever. So we with kids especially, we just want to be real careful, watch them closely, divide the dose, titrate up, just keep an eye on them, because there's a lot of liability in there, because kids don't always know that something's wrong, and it usually comes out in their behavior, but they can't tell you generally what they just ate or what they just did to cause a problem. So keep an eye on them. And also know that you can break open the Cope. It basically is tasteless. So if a person's not a capsule taker, you can, mix it in something, disguise it in something. You'll find the sleep, because of that lemon balm, is really, really tart. So I do not recommend opening up that one. But yeah, great question.
Yeah, thank you. Because also with the herbals in there, that's why I was curious. So thank you.
Okay, we have a question in chat. It says, if a client takes these pills and affects their cortisol output through urine, if we need to measure the cortisol, my question is when the client needs to stop taking the pills in order to see real cortisol numbers. Generally a washout for any supplement is going to be about 3 days. This product is so new. I don't know for sure. We're going to have to play with that a little bit and get back with you. And just to comment on some of the responses, generally, we think about placebo being 20%, but I think we have to also keep in mind the energy medicine aspect, and that our bodies are electrical. And I think when someone really needs something, it's utilized even energetically immediately. So sure, using a product one time, you might chalk it up to psychosomatic or placebo, but energy medicine is not really understood or utilized. So that could be part of the story. I just throw that out there.
I want to agree with that, because when I was first seeing my nutritional chiropractor, she would give me something to help me with my sleep, and I would know instantly that night I would sleep better. And I would know instantly when something wouldn't work.
Super. That's good confirmation.
I do have a question. What if somebody's already taking melatonin and 5-HTP? Do they need to stop taking that or do they need to ease off of those while they're taking the Zenbiome for sleep?
You know, I think it's how attached is the person to their melatonin. You know, because some of these supplements, even though they are very effective, they can almost be addictive because a person is afraid that they won't sleep well, or they have a commitment the following day and they just have to be 100% sure that they're going to be able to sleep well for whatever that is. So you want to be in a space that you can let go of what you're already doing, because certainly if you're using something that's working on your biochemistry more naturally, instead of, and even supplements can be a band-aid. Even supplements, can be, just covering up an issue and not really correcting the underlying biochemistry. So it would be, weaning off while you're ramping up. That's one way to look at it, if you have, the time and the space in order to do that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for a great discussion. Any other questions? We can, I definitely appreciate when smarter people than I ask questions and you just don't know what you don't know. So definitely if you process this information and have more questions, we'd love to hear them.
Yeah, and there's several reps on this call. Some of the practitioners that have joined us. If your area is Houston, then Lain is your rep. If your area is Dallas-Fort Worth, then Cindy is your rep. If your area is Austin, then Mitzi is your rep. And I think she actually joined by phone. So if you see an 830 number, that's her. If your area is California, and I don't think there's any California docs on here, but some may listen to this recording, or practitioners. So Northern California, that's going to be Tamra. And San Francisco, San Jose, Nevada is going to be Catherine. And then we've got reps in Southern California is Jeff, and then Central is Scott. So as you can see, we've expanded our sales force and coverage to give you more personal attention. So reach out to these folks. We're going to be here every Thursday honing in our skills, and we always welcome you. Your questions really help us, and we just really like networking with those who are as nerdy as we are about the microbiome. So if you don't have any more questions about Zenbiome, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and then just open it up to the floor.